Galáctico.
Intentos fallidos, Figo lanzó el córner.
My experience was fantastic.
They called the traitor, and I call him the strongest player on the planet Earth. How the best player in the world, who was decorated with all kinds of awards, including the prestigious Price Ballon d'Or, became the most hated player on Earth. How did he survive this? I still imagine what he was thinking on his head, the trauma, what he passed through, and I believe he is still fighting it till date. Because he is supposed to be one of the best coach by now. There are football matches, and then there is El Clásico. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. More than a game, more than rivalry. It's identity versus power. Pride versus dominance. It's two worlds crashing into each other with every kick, every tackle, every roar from the crowd. Barcelona, proudly Catalan, a symbol of resistance, of culture, of a people. Real Madrid, the face of Spanish royalty. White shirts soaked in trophies and tradition. The hatred runs deep. And amidst that burning fire, Figo. In the 90s, he was football royalty. Born in Portugal, polished in Lisbon, and crowned in Barcelona. He arrived at the Camp Nou in 1995 and quickly became the beating heart of the team. There he played alongside giants, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Kluivert, and still he stood tall. 2 La Liga titles, a Copa del Rey, a UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, a UEFA Super Cup. But trophies weren't the only thing he earned. He earned love. Deep, pure, unwavering love from the fans. He even wore the captain's armband, a rare honour for someone who didn't come through La Masia. But none of that mattered, because Figo had become one of them. Or so they thought. What no one knew, not even the closest in the dressing room, was that his final Clásico as a Barcelona player came in 2000. That summer, chaos reigned behind the scenes. Barcelona, despite their glitter on the field, were cracking inside. The presidency of Josep Luís Núñez was falling apart. Players were frustrated, management was divided. And into that storm walked a man with a dream, Florentino Pérez. Pérez wanted to become Real Madrid president, but he needed more than promises. He needed a symbol. So he made a gamble. He found Figo's agent, offered a secret pact, and promised the unimaginable. If I win the presidency, Figo comes to Madrid. The contract was signed. A pre-agreement. Either Figo comes, or pays 30 million euros. They laughed. Everyone did. Pérez had never won anything. They thought it was a bluff. Just a clever way to pressure Barcelona into giving Figo a better deal. But against all odds, Pérez won. And just like that, the unthinkable happened. Real Madrid paid 62 million euros, triggering Figo's release clause, the most expensive player in the world, and the first Galáctico in what would become a revolution. But to Barcelona, it wasn't business, it wasn't politics, it was betrayal. Pure cutting betrayal. Posters of his face were ripped apart. Sports papers called him a traitor. Club legends swore they'd never forgive him. And then came October 21st, 2000, his return to the Camp Nou. No one was ready for what was coming. 98,000 voices screamed in one direction. The man who once wore their armband was now in white. The noise deafening. The insults vicious, but the worst was the silence in his eyes. He walked onto the pitch like a soldier heading to war, not against 11 players, but an entire city. Each time he touched the ball to 0 that night, but the real battle was never on the scoreboard. And yet, that was just the beginning. 2 years later, he returned again. November 2000, King Night at the Camp Nou. But no rain could wash away what the fans felt. It only made it worse, more intense, more personal. This time, Figo didn't hide. He took corners. He walked to the edge of hate. And Barcelona responded. Beer cans, coins, whiskey bottles, golf balls. I caught it, sitting near the corner flag. A pig's head. Yes, a pig's head. How it got there, no one knows. But there it was, a symbol, a message, a scar. The match had to be stopped for 6 minutes. Even Barcelona's president pleaded with fans to stop. They didn't. But eventually, the game resumed. And when it ended 0-0, it felt like a whisper, a warning. That transfer built a wall between Barcelona and Real Madrid that no player has crossed since. The fire Figo walked through, no one else has dared to step into. Not directly, not again. And yet, despite everything, he endured. He played, he won, and whether they loved him or hated him, no one forgot him. Because this is the story of how one man became both a legend and a villain, all in the same lifetime. Behind the scenes, what people don't know. What most fans don't know is how close Figo was to backing out of the move. His agent, José Vega, had struck the deal with Perez without Figo signing anything initially. The pre-contract was binding only if Perez won the presidency, which he did. Figo later confessed that he never expected Perez to win. By the time he realised the gravity, it was too late. If he had pulled out, the penalty clause was €30 million, which would have come from his own pocket. Barcelona weren't going to help. Figo felt trapped. His close friends revealed that the weeks leading up to the transfer, even his wife was harassed. Figo never wanted to be the villain, but the narrative was written for him. In a cruel twist of fate, he became a legend by becoming a traitor. Legacy at Real Madrid between 2000 and 2005, Luís Figo played 239 games for Real Madrid, scoring 57 goals and assisting countless more. He won 2 La Liga titles, 2000-1, 2002-3, 2 Spanish Super Cups, 1 UEFA Champions League, 2001-2, 1 UEFA Super Cup, and 1 Intercontinental Cup. He was no longer just a slick winger from Lisbon. He was a global icon, and in 2001, a year after that chaotic transfer, Figo was crowned the Ballon d'Or winner, the best footballer on earth. The Galactico project had its flaws, but Figo was its perfect beginning. He embodied both the beauty and brutality of ambition. Final chapter, Inter Milan, 2005-2009. At age 32, with new Galacticos arriving, Zidane, Ronaldo, Beckham, Figo felt his chapter at Madrid closing. In 2005, he joined Inter Milan on a free transfer. Italy welcomed him, not as a betrayer, but as a maestro, and he thrived. At Inter, Figo added 4 Serie A titles, 1 Coppa Italia and 1 Supercoppa Italiana. He became a mentor for a new generation, leading with grace, showing that flair and intelligence could age like fine wine. His final game came on May 31st, 2009, against Atalanta. The San Siro stood and applauded. Even the ultras sang. Luís Figo, now 36, left the pitch a hero. No pigs' heads, no whistles, just love. The heart of Portugal, Figo's national career was a saga of heartbreak and glory. From 1991 to 2006, he earned 127 caps and scored 32 goals for Portugal. He was the leader of the fabled Golden Generation alongside Rui Costa, João Pinto, and later Cristiano Ronaldo. He carried Portugal to the semi-finals of Euro 2000 and the finals of Euro 2004, where a shocking 1-0 defeat to Greece shattered the nation. In 2006, he captained Portugal to the World Cup semi-finals before retiring from international football. Though he never lifted an international trophy, his passion, tears and leadership forged a path for those who followed. Cristiano himself has spoken of Figo as a true pioneer. Life after football post-retirement, Figo remained close to football, dabbling in business, punditry and ambassadorial roles. In 2015, he even ran for FIFA presidency, but withdrew, citing corruption and closed systems. He never tried to erase the past, he embraced it. "I have no regrets," he once said. "You don't grow by hiding." A final word, from hate to immortality. Luís Figo's story isn't about betrayal. It's about bravery, about stepping into fire and walking through it, about losing a family to gain a throne. He may never be loved by all, but he will always be remembered. And in the world of football, remembrance is a kind of immortality. So next time you hear whistles, listen deeper. There's a story there, and behind every villain, there's a man who made a choice. If this story moved you, if it made you feel, remember, or think, then do something about it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Legends live on through those who tell their stories. Now, if you thought Figo's journey was wild, wait till you hear what happened when Paul Scholes nearly died after a match. You won't believe it. Just click here to find out.